What's up, everyone? Chris won't be with us today. He has to get some things done before he gets to so it'll just be me. So I'm just gonna wait until a couple people join. And then of course, as always, if you have your questions or comments, you can start putting them in the um, comment section, and then we'll get going in a second. So hope everybody's doing well on this beautiful Friday. Uh, at least it's beautiful in New York. I don't know where everyone is at, but it's very nice out here. So very happy about that. So I'll wait a minute or two for a couple more people to join. And as always, if you want to ask a question, leave a comment, you can start doing that now. I'm just going to send out a tweet real quick to let people know that we're here. Yes, a Seattle Kraken jersey. I have a lot of jerseys. So I just wear different ones. For me, it's fashion, and I like the logos and colors, so that's what I go off of. It's not a allegiance thing. It's just I like jerseys. I have a whole closet full of jerseys from all sports: hockey, football, Manchester United jerseys, Yankee jerseys. So yeah, I have about I think at this point 10 hockey jerseys. So I rotate through them. I have old school Ducks, um, two old school Anaheim Ducks, the Mighty Ducks jerseys. I have this one, obviously, the Sabres, the Rangers. I wore old St. Louis Blues jersey. I have a bunch of them. So I'm not a Kraken fan at all. So yeah, I'm gonna send this tweet out, and then you know, of course, start leaving your comments and questions. Chris has things to do before he has to go to the stadium. Obviously, the Yankees are here in New York, so he'll be at the stadium. For those that don't know, you have to be in the clubhouse for media availability at 3 p.m. So that's when it starts. A lot of times the guys duck the media. So um, Chris is there with the other beat reporters, but they don't always get to speak to the guys because they're hiding from them, essentially. So that's that's basically how it works. Um, so yeah, hope everybody's having a good Friday so far. Excited to be doing this again. If you want to sign up for the Patreon, the link is in our description below this video. So, um, yeah, 2 episodes a week. We'll be at the $10 tier, and 1 episode a week is a $5 tier. So, um, yeah, just gonna wait for a couple more people to join us. All right, so as people join and start getting their questions ready, I'll start off with my thoughts on this Toronto series. Toronto's coming into this series losers of the last 5 games. I believe they just got swept. They played. Who did they play? I'm going to look that up real quick. I know Boston played Seattle. Boston lost yesterday. Toronto, I'm checking. Uh, they haven't been playing well at all. They've definitely lost their last 5. Who did they play? Oh, they played the Astros in Houston and just got swept by the Astros. So they are not playing well, which, depending on how you look at it, is either a good thing or a bad thing for the Yankees. Sometimes a team is due and you're the victim of that. And other times you can continue to capitalize on a team's struggle. So we'll see how the Yankees fare with that. Cookie Carrasco is going tonight against Berrios. Berrios is not pitching well. He has a 5 ERA. So we could have some fireworks at the stadium given the starting pitching matchup, but we could also well, nah, we're not going to have a pitcher's duel with Cookie Carrasco involved. I don't think so. We might get some fireworks, or Berrios might have a good start and shut the Yankees down. I don't think that's going to happen either, but that's a pitching matchup. Toronto's been struggling. Their pitching outside of Gossman, I think, has been pretty inconsistent. So the Yankees lineup might have a chance to pick on some carcasses this weekend if things go well. AJ, thoughts on Judge not going from Barry Bonds to Tony Gwynn the last couple of weeks? I don't have a problem with it. I mean, he's hitting over 400. I'm not going to complain about that. He's hitting the crap out of the ball. He's 100th percentile in like every hard hit metric. He has great quality. You know, if you look at his metrics, I just think the ball's not going over the fence right now. So I think it's fine. He'll go on one of those binges. He has 7 home runs. He really should have 8. So he should be at 8 home runs. We know what happened down at Tampa. I think it's been fine. Like everything he's doing, he's incredible. I can't even find the words to properly and appropriately describe Aaron Judge this season, last season, the year before, and the year before that. So if you're getting compared to Tony Gwynn, I don't think that's a bad thing at all, obviously. So I think it's okay. The home run binges will come. He just missed a home run in Cleveland in that last game. So he's like Barry Bonds and Tony Gwynn at the same time. So I think we'll take that. That's pretty good. So I have no complaints. He might hit 10 over the weekend for all we know, the way that he gets hot with the home run. So I think a power surge is coming in terms of home runs. I think he'll start racking them up. So I'm not worried at all. Simon Wah, last year consensus was that the Yankees were clearly the best AL team. Coming into this year with injuries and loss of Soto, that was in question. Where do we stand now in your opinion? I think they're in the upper tier of the AL teams, but I definitely cannot say with certainty that they're the best team in the AL. I don't think that there's a clear-cut favorite. I mean, I'm with everybody right now where the AL is down, but I've been saying that for a little while, for a couple years. I don't think the AL has been good for a couple years. I think once Houston started sliding in the wrong direction, the field has been wide open. I don't think Houston's been good since they won the World Series. And that was bound to happen. I don't think that they were set up with their departures and the way that they don't sign guys and the position of their minor league system for them to be able to sustain it for that much longer. I think they hit their peak. And since then, the AL has been wide open, and I think teams are kind of rotating through who can be the best team in the AL. Last year was the Yankees. I think the Yankees were the clear-cut best team in the league for months last year. I don't think that is true about them right now. I think they're in the conversation. I think that there's a chance for them to emerge as that best team. I think Texas is still going to be good once they figure out some of their pitching stuff. Boston, I think, got a lot of hype. I think people just were looking for someone to like crown as the AL champs before the season started, and they kind of just like covered their eyes and landed on Boston. I think Boston has plenty of problems. I think that they have a decent team, but you can see where some of the issues are when Devers isn't hitting. I don't think that lineup is particularly deep, and they also have their own pitching issues. So I wouldn't put Boston in that conversation yet. The central teams, I don't think any of them, I mean, they're the central teams. They are what they are. Although I will say Detroit, probably besides the Yankees, has the strongest case right now. They have fantastic pitching. I just don't really believe in their lineup long term. So I think unless their lineup can step up and be a more elite group for a sustained period of time, I have my questions about Detroit, but their pitching is fantastic. I'm not sure if a guy like Zach McKinstry can keep it up all summer long. He's off to a hot start. If he sustains it, that might change some things, but I just think that they need to they still have some offensive questions. And then, of course, we all know about the Yankees. There's the rotation. There's some guys in the lineup that are struggling a little bit, even though they still have the top offense in the American League. They're first in WRC plus, they're first in WAR, first in home runs, they're first in a lot of categories. So yes, that's driven by a couple guys, but they've gotten contributions in the early part of the season from a lot of guys. Just right now, some of them have gone cold. We all know about Volpe. We can obviously talk about Volpe. We can talk about Bellinger. We can talk about Goldschmidt. But yeah, I think the Yankees are certainly in that conversation, but I couldn't say definitively that they're the team to beat right now. And it's early, but I think I would be biased if I said they were the best team right now. I don't think they've shown that yet. But they're in the conversation. Who or what? This is from Luke. Who or what has been the biggest surprise and biggest disappointment so far in the Yankee season? It's a good question. Biggest surprise for me, this might not sound great to other people. One of the bigger surprises, I would say, is Goldschmidt. I did not like the signing, even though it was a one-year deal. I was definitely in the group that was concerned about his last season. He was terrible against righties. That didn't improve when his late season surge happened. He just did not have good numbers against righties. And I wasn't a fan of the signing. But obviously he's been very productive so far. Second in the league in batting average, if that thing is important to you. I think he's been surprising. He's been surprising both in like good and not so good ways for me. I'm definitely going to take the production. I'm definitely happy about the production. I like Paul Goldschmidt. I think he's added a level of like just professionalism and professional at bats and all those things. So I think all of that has been great. But I think there is some flukiness there, and you can look at his under the hood metrics and you can see where there might be a point where this kind of goes in the other direction. He has a career high in flare percentage, career high in weak contact percentage. He's not hitting the ball hard. There's like a ton of stuff where you can look at it and say, okay, I don't know how long this is going to last, but at this point, I don't care because he's producing. I mean, he's doing his thing. I think if ultimately with Goldschmidt, if he can slug more when some of this like kind of fluky stuff goes away, then he'll be fine. But to me, it still comes down to slugging with Goldschmidt. And a lot of people talked about Rizzo's home run production or lack thereof. It's April 25th and Goldschmidt still only has one home run. So I think he's a big surprise, like in good ways. But again, I just feel like there's some warning signs that are bubbling underneath the surface. And Chris and I have talked about this numerous times on the podcast where he could turn into one of the bigger disappointments if he doesn't have his slugging kind of eventually balance the inevitable fall. Also, his BABIP is like almost at 500, which is interesting because Judge is at 500 with a BABIP, but Judge is hitting the absolute shit out of the ball. He's earned the 500 BABIP. Paul Goldschmidt's doing this with like the weakest contact of his career. So like, the numbers tell you things, but the context and what's actually happening on the field tell you something different. Biggest disappointment so far, I'm going to live in the moment. I don't think this is a season-wide thing, but I'm going to live in the moment and definitely answer this question on April 25th and like just kind of use the recent performance. I would say Volpe offensively. I'm not a Volpe super fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think Volpe's a good major league player overall. I mean, he's one of the best defensive players in the league. He's playing really good defense this year. All those things are important, but offensively, I have no idea. I was saying this on a podcast. I have no idea who Anthony Volpe is at this point as a hitter. You could say he sucks, and you would probably be right. You could say that there's something there and there's potential, and he just needs to keep like working on it to maximize it, and you would probably be right. You could go either way with Volpe at this point. If you're in the he sucks camp, cool. I'm not going to debate you. If somebody said that, I think there's something there and he just needs to work through some things, or he's just like having a slump, I'd say, okay, I'm with you on that too. I don't know who Anthony Volpe is, and that's in of itself a problem, I would think, for a third-year player. at least on the offensive side. I think the biggest issue right now is obviously the fastballs. But the funny thing is, when he came up as a rookie in 2023, he was good against fastballs. So I have no idea what's happened from 2023 to now, where he struggled with fastballs, and he's really struggling with fastballs like in the upper part of the zone. And it's like, you got to figure this out, man. You're in your third year. Like, you've been around the league now. Like, the team has shown a lot of faith in you, and you got to start showing some consistency. So I think I'm a believer in Volpe's talent, but at some point you got to produce. Like, I think at some point you got to show it. Like, the talent is great, but you got to start producing, especially as a third-year player. So in the moment, I would say Volpe's a disappointment, and I would say Cody Bellinger is definitely a disappointment. I've been very unimpressed with him offensively. I will also say that I think he will have a good year. I think he will figure it out. But that's totally contingent on him getting back to pulling the ball in the air. Like, if Cody Bellinger is not going to pull the ball in the air this year, he's useless. I mean, that's his profile. That's where his success offensively lies, and he's not doing it right now. We were talking about this on the podcast yesterday. Bellinger has like Alex Verdugo disease right now, where if you remember last year, Alex Verdugo said that he was at his best when he was going to the opposite field. And if you look at any number related to that, Verdugo couldn't have been more wrong. He was wildly unproductive, and he was a bad player, bad offensive player for the Yankees. And part of it was his approach. I guess he still thought he was in Fenway when he was in Yankee Stadium. It didn't work. And right now, so far early on, Bellinger has been going to the opposite field way more than he should. He's a pull side up in the air guy. And that has to change. I believe it will. I think it will happen. Like, I still believe in Cody. I'm still kind of bullish on him, but he's been terrible so far. He's been a huge disappointment. And I know I sent out this tweet a couple days ago that predictably people just completely misinterpreted and turned into something else. But like, if you're going to talk bad about Volpe, which is valid, recently, you have to talk about Bellinger. Bellinger has been objectively worse than Volpe this season. And he has objectively had worse at bat compared to Volpe over the early part of the season. Like, Bellinger hasn't shown anything. Defensively he has, but offensively he has shown nothing. And I know Aaron Boone said that he's been controlling his own. That just sounds like Boone talk. I have no idea what he's talking about. I can point out multiple at-bats where Cody Bellinger has been ahead in the count and completely ruined an at-bat in a run-scoring situation in which he just fished for pitches that are 30 feet off the plate, up in the count. And Bellinger hasn't shown anything offensively, to be quite honest. I think he's been horrific. Now, it's early, and again, I think he will be better, but he's definitely been a disappointment to me. He has shown nothing offensively, and he hasn't even shown glimpses of him getting out of this. He just looks terrible, to be quite honest, and I don't think it has anything to do with his bat. I just think he looks bad. He's like totally out of whack. And if Bellinger doesn't hit the ball in the air to the pull side, I don't think he's going to be a very good player for the Yankees, which, if you're looking down the road, is not a good thing, because if he opts in that contract, you got a bigger problem on your hands. So you want Cody Bellinger to have a good year so he can potentially opt out and, the Yankees have a spot to pursue other players. But I would say that along with recent vintage Volpe and Bellinger, those are my two biggest disappointments. What does the regular lineup look like when DJ or Stanton are back? I think DJ becomes at the very least, the platoon partner to Oswaldo Cabrera. I think Peraza is out of there, or Pablo Reyes is out of there. Choose whichever guy you want to get rid of. One of them will be gone. It'll probably be Reyes, because they can just DFA him. Peraza doesn't have any options left. But I think at the very least, DJ is the right-sided platoon for Oswaldo. I think Oswaldo will continue to get at bats, especially because I don't see DJ getting full-time play just because of his injury history. Oswaldo has been hitting for the most part. Defensively, he's been inconsistent. DJ is still the better glove, I would assume. But I think starting off, at least, DJ will be in a platoon with Cabrera. I don't think the Yankees want to play DJ into the ground just because of his age and injury history, and I don't think that's really beneficial for anybody. So I think DJ is more of a platoon, and he might steal some at bats against righties from time to time, depending on how he produces. To me, Stanton goes right back to the DH spot. And I also think with him, he will also get days off. One, because of his health. I don't think they want to run either Stanton or DJ into the ground. And also, you got to give Rice at bats. Chris has mentioned a couple times that, when Stanton comes back, there's a chance that JC Escarra gets demoted and Ben Rice becomes the backup catcher, so that there's another avenue for Rice to get at bats. I know that's like a big question for everybody, and it's a valid question. But I think, at least according to Chris, there is potential for JC Escarra to get demoted to AAA, and Ben Rice slides in as the backup so that he can start to manage things with. Sorry, my dog is going crazy. So he can. So Rice can start taking some of the backup catcher duties, and that will give him at bats as well. I also think there's the potential, depending on the timing of everything, that Rice can start getting some more starts at first base too, and they could kind of platoon in a little bit with Goldschmidt. But I think Stanton will get the majority of the DH at bats, and they might even platoon that situation too, which would be fine. But I think they're going to ease DJ and Stanton back. I mean, there's no reason to just drop them in the middle of the lineup or in the lineup period and just give them like endless at bats. I don't think that's beneficial for them health wise, and they're older, so I think the flexibility will be good and they'll figure it out. And I think all the guys will get plenty of at bats. The big thing is, does DJ have anything left? Obviously, we don't know until we see it. He obviously did good in Somerset, but what does that mean? I don't think that really means much. I think you guys would agree. Hawkeye 420, the 5 through 9 guys have been struggling since the first week. Have there been signs of life recently to suggest they'll rebound soon? I'm not worried about Jazz in the slightest. I think he's just chasing results. This is something that Chris also mentioned when talking about Jazz's time with the Marlins. There were people, I don't know if they were journalists or members of the Marlins organization, that told Chris that Jazz has a tendency to chase results. And to me, that's definitely what's happening here. He's chasing homers. He's in that like funny locker room competition with Judge, between the homers and the steals. I think Judge is just, I think Jazz is just chasing results. And Jazz's BABIP is like 150, and he's hitting the crap out of the ball. And I think if you look at under the hood metrics, Jazz he's been doing pretty well, just like not with the results. And the strikeouts are high. The strikeouts are definitely high, but I think part of that is like him chasing results and chasing homers and like making his swing bigger than it needs to be. I mean, he has such quick hands. He just needs to like get the barrel on the ball, and I think he drives it more times than not. So I'm not really worried about Jazz. We spoke about Volpe. You're including 5 through 9 guys. You're including Jason. I think Jason's been really good. The right side was always going to be an issue for a couple reasons. The injury that he sustained last year took out a lot of time for him, obviously, in his development in the minor leagues. And he's not seeing as many lefties in the minors anyway. So, like, he was always going to have issues on the right side, as his season started. The right side is part of his development, like him developing in left field. He can only get that with more reps. So to me, the right side issues were expected just because of the lack of development in the minors. But from the left side, he's been fantastic. He's been really good. And he has a good eye. Like that eye that he carried in the minors, you can definitely see it on the major league level too. So I wouldn't include Jason in the 5 through 9 struggles at all. I mean, if you want to talk about the righty side, yeah, okay. But for me, I knew that was going to happen. And I think most people that knew where Jason was at developmentally knew that was like the side that was behind. So I think I don't think Jason's struggling at all from the left side. He's been an impact player. That ball he hit in Cleveland was crazy, like 445 feet. He's what, 21, 22 years old, never been to Cleveland before, facing his staff for the first time and launching balls. I'm not worried about, sorry. I'm not worried about Jason either. So who else do we have? Wells. I honestly don't know what to think of Wells. I think there are some numbers that suggest that he's going to be okay. I think he will be okay. But Wells has struggled for sure. But I'm not totally worried about Wells. I think out of that entire group, the one that I'm worried about is Volpe, just because track record, but also like he just can't hit a fastball anymore. And it wasn't always like that. And again, like I said before, I don't know what the explanation is for that. I don't know if it's mechanical. I don't know if like he somehow lost bat speed, which I don't think is true either. I think he's increased his bat speed. So I don't really know what's going on with Volpe. But I think Wells will be okay, but that's more just like kind of going on like blind faith. But between Jason and Jazz, I definitely feel confident that they'll be fine and produce. And then Cabrera is Cabrera. I mean, whatever you can get from Cabrera offensively, I think is a benefit and a good thing. And then we just go from there, and hopefully they get a third baseman at some point. That's where I'm at with Cabrera. So Cabrera's like a 9-hitter to me. That's it. So I don't know many great 9-hitters in the league. So they're just like everybody else. Let me see here. Spencer Jones with another home run last night, also using a completely new stance from what we saw in spring. Yeah. Admittedly, I don't look at every single minor league game. I'm not up to date with like every single prospect, but I know what Spencer Jones is doing. His K rate has dropped a little bit. It's still like super high, but it's dropped. Whatever that stance change is, it's definitely working for him, at least with like the contact. And it's obviously helping with the K rate a little bit, but that was crazy that like he had one stance in spring training, then all of a sudden the minor league season started and he has like a completely different stance, which, you know, is great. I mean, I think it's a great sign. The early results are good, you know, beyond like the homers. I think he's just driving the ball really well. He's being an impact player. I think he's putting himself in a position to get a promotion at some point. I mean, he's repeated Double-A now, and he's starting to drive the ball. I think they probably want to see a little bit more on the strikeout side a little bit and see that drop a little bit more. But I think he's making a case to get promoted and start like having some upward movement. So, yeah, I think it's been encouraging with Spencer Jones. I think there's a lot of encouragement in the early beginning of the minor league season for the Yankees, period. If you follow Mike Ashmore on Twitter, he's a huge fan of Ben Hess and Bryce Cunningham, but like really talks up Ben Hess. Ben Hess has been starting out well. Cunningham has started out well. Obviously, Lombard Jr. is doing well. There's a bunch of other guys that have been doing well that I'm sure people in here that are watching this or listen to the podcast or more aware of than I am. But I know in general, you know, the minor league squads are off to a good start. Cam Schlittler, I believe, pitched well yesterday, and he's looking pretty good at Double-A. So there's a lot of positive things going on the minor league side for the Yankees that are only a good thing. They obviously had a down year last year and a lot of injuries and stuff like that, but they're off to a good start up and down the minor league system, and Spencer Jones is a big part of that. So hopefully that continues, because as we move forward in the season, the Yankees need as many trade chips as possible, and also they need to know that down the road they have some players that they can look forward to that they can keep internally and move up to the big league club. So I think this is a great sign. I don't know how people feel about Spencer Jones. You can let me know in the comments. Like, do you want to keep Spencer Jones? Do you think that he could be a piece for the Yankees in the future? Do you want to trade him? Like, let me know. I'm not really sure where I stand on Spencer Jones. I'm a fan of him, but I'm not sure if the best road is to keep him with the Yankees. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, but as long as he's playing well, he might look good to another team and you get a good player out of it. So we'll see. Volpe can't hit a fastball above 95. That one game versus Tampa was nasty to watch from him. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't always like that, though. In 2023, he was good against the fastballs. We spoke about it yesterday on the podcast, went through his numbers. So something happened after 2023. I'm still of the mind that whoever told Volpe to change his approach for last year to be like this weird slap hitter completely messed things up. He's not a slap hitter. He was never a slap hitter. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who got that in his mind. I don't know who like crafted his swing to do that, but I think that's been part of the issue. Like he just keeps bouncing from approach to approach. So he has it in him because he's done it already at the major league level. So maybe he gets it back. But yeah, I mean the fastball right now is like a big problem. And especially the high fastball. It's been a problem. Who's your pick to lead the Yankees in homers by the end of the season? Oswaldo Cabrera. No. I mean, it'll be Judge. That's pretty easy. But if Oswaldo Cabrera hits double-digit home runs, I'll be very happy. Hawkeye 420. He's been calling Cody Bellinger, Cody Verdugo to start the season. That would be accurate. My dog Tim also has opinions on Volpe and Cody Bellinger, apparently. Hawkeye 420. Is Rowson still with the team? Don't think I've seen him in the dugout on the broadcast this season. Yeah, he's definitely with the team. He hasn't gone anywhere. He just did an interview with Meredith Marakovits a couple days ago. So he's there. He hasn't gone anywhere. Like we got a Derek Dietrich spot, but I don't remember seeing Rowson, especially after the torpedo stuff. Yeah, he's there. Nothing's changed. I've seen shots of him in the dugout. Like I said, he just had an interview with Meredith Marakovits, I think, in the last homestand. So, yeah, I think he's there. He hasn't gone anywhere. You would have known if he wasn't there anymore because I think that would be pretty big news. Fabrice, Jason sitting 310 from the left side. Yeah, and he's driving the ball. I think he's been good. Hawkeye 420. Notice the jersey. I know you never supported the other MSG team. Is this you leaving the Rangers? Would be a wise choice. Not going to lie, Rangers fan in purgatory. No, I'm still a Rangers fan. Before you got on, I explained that I have lots of jerseys. So for me, they're just like fashion pieces. They're not like indications of allegiance to any particular team. I'm a Rangers fan. I have a Rangers jersey. I'm still with the Rangers. They're trash. I don't know why they extended Chris Drury. I'm sure everyone is like, what the hell is going on here? I didn't know that you could go through 3 coaches. They all like kind of like fall off a cliff and then you come right back and get a contract extension. But I guess when you're cool with the owner, that's what happens. But no, I'm just wearing the jerseys because I like jerseys and I have them from all kinds of sports. So, including the Rangers, and I have a Yankees jersey, obviously. How are the defense zero views? How are the defensive and offensive metrics looking for the Martian, trending positively, etc.? I want him to break out. Yeah, they look good. I mean, I haven't checked his defensive metrics. I could do it in a second. But at least a week ago, he was like, at least if you believe in DRS, he was like a +2 or plus. I think he was a +2 DRS. I haven't looked at his OA recently, but if you, again, the right side for Jason is not good. Like you can just see it. You don't even need to look at the metrics. But like on the left side, it's been like really good. So unless somebody, I mean, I could probably break it down. I don't know if you could do that on Savant. I would have to check because I never really got that granular when looking at Savant. But I would say from the left side, his offensive metrics are really good. I mean, he's hitting the crap out of the ball. He has a good eye. He walks a bunch of times. He crafts good at bats. I would assume his metrics are good strictly from the left side. But like if you're looking at the general metrics, it's going to combine both sides for him. So it might be a little lower just because of where he's at. I'm going to look at where he's at defensively right now. But he hasn't been horrible, so that's good. And I also think so where is he at? Yeah, so he's a -1 OAA. One thing I've learned about OAA is that it's like really tough on certain players. There's some guys like Grisham, I think, has a negative OAA. So I actually, that reminds me, I want to talk to Mike Petriolo, and I actually want to get him back on the podcast to start talking about some early season trends. But I'm curious from his perspective, what he thinks of the OAA rankings and evaluations, because there's some guys that you're like, oh man, that guy like looks like he's playing really well defensively. And then OAA is like, well, actually he's not, he doesn't have that much range. So I know a lot of it has to do with their cameras and measurements and stuff like that, but I'm curious what goes into it. So Jason hasn't been a disaster in left field by the metrics. I think by the eye you can tell like it's not a disaster, but I think he'll get better. I mean, it was a center fielder. I think he just needs reps. I don't want to sound like Aaron Boone and everybody else, but I really do think that it's a case of reps and being comfortable. I still think he looks unsure of himself at times, and I think when you're more comfortable, you're more aggressive. When you feel better about your surroundings and your positioning and your jumps and you seeing the ball off the bat and hearing the ball off the bat and understanding where it could go and angles and all that other stuff. I think he'll be more aggressive. I think right now he's still playing it safe, which makes sense. You don't want to make a mistake, but also like when you're not comfortable, naturally you're just not going to be as aggressive because you're still like figuring things out. But I think the metrics show that he's fine, and I think he'll get better. His left side metrics offensively, I'm just going to say are really good because he's been really good from the left side. The right side's the problem, but that's going to take time. I don't know when that breakout will happen, so I don't have like a magic answer for that one. But I would just say this. From what I've seen, and it's early, he could fall off a cliff. He could pull a Volpe, I guess. I just think Jason Dominguez will be a very important piece for this team moving forward. I just think he's really good. I'm all in on Jason. Like, I just think he's a really good baseball player. And for someone that's essentially in his rookie year, coming off all those injuries, and remember, again, he has not had a lot of minor league development. He's doing this with, like, not a lot of minor league games under his belt for things that were essentially out of his control with the injuries, COVID, all the minor league stuff that's been going on with MLB the last couple of years. He just does not have all the reps that you would think someone who's a top prospect would have that's been in the minors for as long technically as he has. So I think everything he's shown so far is like really encouraging. I think the defense will get better, and I hope the right side gets better. But that's going to take patience. Like, I wouldn't stop him from switch hitting just because he's not doing well by April 25th in his rookie season. I think that will take time. And he's already had some big hits from the right side. So that's good. My not so realistic hope was for Jones to be a Dollar Tree lefty judge. I think he would get moved from reinforcements at some point, maybe even this year. Yeah, I mean, the season is so long and things change so much. And yeah, I mean, it could definitely happen. He could stay. He could fall off a cliff and be terrible and like kill his value like he did last year. I mean, I think this can go in many different directions. But if he's still continuing to hit the shit out of the ball and show some promise, there's always one organization that can say, yeah, I can fix that guy. I think that's kind of prevalent. Also, I will say that there's always the whole, we don't know how other teams evaluate other organizations' players. So they might see something that they really like and they're like, okay, that matches up with how we develop our guys and we really want them. Or people could just say, you know what, this is not for us. Maybe the owner wants like a big splashy prospect. I mean, there's so many things that go into it that like you wouldn't even assume. I know when the Yankees tried to trade Gleyber to Miami, the owner from the Marlins like got involved and kind of like Cashman thought he had a deal, and then Kim Ng kind of just ghosted him for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it was like, nah, we're not going to do this. So there's a lot of things that go on both sides. That's why they always say it takes two to tango, because it really does take two to tango, obviously. But, you know, the two involve multiple people and not just like GMs and assistant GMs. And also, you have to consider when we talk about trades, who do the assistant GMs like? Also, it's not just Cashman. I know Cashman gets all the praise, or a little bit of praise that he still gets, and like a lot of the negativity. It's not just Cashman making these decisions and creating these targets. A lot of it is Fishman too. Like the assistant general managers have a big role in like who these teams target and certain teams that they have relationships with. Like the Yankees have relationships with certain organizations that help them make certain trades. And then there's other organizations where like it's just difficult for them to make moves because of relationships and communication and all that stuff too. But keep in mind, like when you think about these deals, it's not just Cashman. Cashman obviously is like the buck stops with him and Hal, but he's not just sitting there all day like making targets and then going for it in a silo. Like Fishman has a lot to do with it. That department has a lot to do with it. It's very collaborative, and like, I won't say names, but Fishman has definitely identified players that they have gone after. And it's not just from Cashman. Thoughts on Will Warren going forward? I think he's doing pretty good. All things considering, I mean, I think he's learning at the major league level. I think part of the problem, and I think Volpe kind of had this problem early on, is that because of injuries and the guys that you really rely on not being available, it puts more spotlight on rookies that are developing in real time. So like Cole's not there, Heal's not there. If they're there, he's probably not even in the rotation. He could still develop in AAA. Maybe he takes Carrasco's spot. He probably takes Carrasco's spot. But I think part of the thing is we're watching a young guy develop at the major league level in real time while they need him to win games. And it's like, it gets frustrating. Like, I've been frustrated with him too. Like, I think he's had some moments where like pitch sequencing and pitch selection has been a problem, but that's development and like getting ready, really learning how to pitch at the major league level is a big difference between that and the minors. But like, you need him to win games because the rotation is banged up. So I think with everything considered, I think Will Warren's been pretty good. I like his toughness, and he's gotten some big outs already, which I think is a good sign. I don't think he would have been able to do that last year in the little cameo that he had. I think things, when it got tough, he completely spiraled and was terrible. But I think he's had multiple situations this season already where he's been given the trust of Boone, and Boone saying, you got to figure out a way to how to get out of these situations if you're going to pitch at this level. And he's had big outs and he's done well. And I think that reflects really well on him. And I also liked in his Cleveland start, I know Matt Blake had mentioned this, so I'm not taking credit for any insight here, but they talked about him being aggressive in the zone. And that message obviously resonated. And I thought that was his best start of the year. If you just look at it overall, I thought, especially going up against so many lefties, I thought he was really good. So I think they're encouraging signs with him as well. I think there just has to be patience, which is hard because, again, the rotation's banged up and he needs to win games for them, or at least keep the team in the game so that the bullpen and the offense can take over. But I think in that context, he's been good. I think, some rough spots from a rookie, but overall I've been pretty pleased with him. And I think he's showing some promise, and I think he's showing why the Yankees are high on him. Hindsight is 2020, but as of now, not getting Christian Walker looks really good. Yeah, it's April 25th, and I'm just going to keep saying this with the caveat. I like Paul Goldschmidt. I will take the production. I think it's been great, but his Luis Ariz impersonation is not going to last. Like, Paul Ariz is not going to be around for the whole season. If you look at the metrics, there is pretty strong evidence that like what he's doing now is not going to last. And the only thing that's going to save this is slugging, which he did Wednesday, but that needs to keep up because he's not going to be hitting broken bat flares for 2 RBIs the whole season. So Walker hasn't been really good yet, but I think Walker will get going. And Goldschmidt's going to come down to earth a little bit. I mean, just having a 470 BABIP is like unsustainable. And that BABIP is based on really bad contact. So again, because some people will not to say the people here, but like when I mention this on Twitter, some people just like lose their minds and like distill this into some like hot take or like some criticism. I like Paul Goldschmidt. I like their production. I know he's doing well right now, but there are signs that this isn't going to last. So hindsight is 2020 right now. Yes, but let's see what happens in June, July, and August, because I think if he has a slide, the people that are big Paul Goldschmidt fans now are going to be trashing him like they did with Rizzo. So we'll see. Hawkeye 420. Hopefully they fired whoever targeted Verdugo last year. I don't think you can fire Aaron Judge. 0 views. Should we start worrying about Jazz's K percentage? He's swinging for 5 home runs every time. I mean, yeah, you can be concerned about it. I mean, it's too high. again, I think he's chasing. But yeah, I mean, I think you could be worried about it. I mean, he's a high K guy to begin with, so you're going to get a lot of Ks from him. But like, this is alarming, and yeah, it's early, but like, you don't want to see that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know about worry, but it's definitely something to pay attention to, even from a high strikeout guy. Like, he's striking out too much. Period. I'm not high LOL on Bellinger either, so to be determined. I like the little joke there. I would hope Jazz would be okay. He works walks, so he has a good eye. It's not like Bellinger or sees every pitch as a strike, even in the other batter's box. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I don't think Bellinger's swing decisions have been great. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I just think he's had terrible at bats and he's not looking good. Christina Miro, sorry, I thought that was an A. Have there been any JT Brubaker updates? I haven't seen any. I can ask Chris, but I haven't seen any updates. Like, it seems like this is going pretty slow with him. I believe he's on a 60-day IL. And there might have been like one update like a week ago, but there hasn't been much about Brubaker. So I think he's closer. But somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I think he's throwing, but I don't think he's like close. I think there are guys that are closer, at least like in their throwing programs. But I haven't heard that much about him. Fabrice, Goldschmidt is the Babu god. Yes, he is. We'll see if that lasts. Fabrice, again, what did you see from Schmidt starts? I think I said this on the podcast. I think if the rotation is healthy, he's still rehabbing. He just looks like he needs more innings under his belt, and he's still kind of going through spring training. But they need him with Stroman getting hurt and everybody else being hurt. So he looks like a guy that's like not fully ready to go for major league starts, but he's kind of just been like put in that position because of the circumstances. So, yeah, I think Clarke Schmidt's a really good pitcher, and I think once he's healthy and like built up healthy, I think he'll be much better than he has been. And also, I think he just has like one or two innings where like, command isn't great or he misses a spot, which makes sense when you're still in kind of spring training mode. So I'm not worried about Schmidt. I think if he was doing this and he was fully built up and didn't have the injury and all that stuff and had the same schedule as everybody else going into the season, then I might say, okay, well, there might be something going on. But I think this is just about he missed spring training and, his spring training is during major league games. So that's what I see. But I think we need to evaluate him when he's like fully built up as a starter and has a couple starts under his belt. So yeah, those are all the questions that I see. We've been going for about 45 minutes. I appreciate you guys joining me. I know that you could be doing something else. If you're interested in subscribing to the podcast, if you're not a subscriber, the link is in the description box. Chris would be with me. But again, he had to do some things before he went to the stadium. He has to be at the stadium by 3 and he's got to do like real life stuff, before he has to go to work. So I appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you for all the questions and comments. I really appreciate it. Thank you for trusting my voice and feeling like, I have something to contribute to these discussions. Tim is saying goodbye to all of you. He's like very interested in speaking to you guys. So thank you, everyone. I think we'll stop this here. We'll be back next Friday. Hopefully Chris will be here. So we appreciate it. And I hope you all have a great weekend and go Yankees.